right, you're back. That's great. Something must be working. This must be helping your child, and that's great. Now, I want to give you a precursor to this video. All right, come closer. Come closer. All right, sevens are fun. Aha, you thought I was going to say something else. No, all seriousness, this is building fluency. We're on multiplication, and you're working with sevens, or at least your child is working with sevens. If you're working with sevens, well, good luck. To let you know, sevens really aren't that difficult once you look at them, but you will have to do a little more, because building this fluency with sevens, these are some that I really, as a child, I had to practice. And with my students, I really have to have them practicing on these sevens. And it generally takes longer than the other numbers because sevens are a little tricky if you want to think about it that way. So multiplying sevens, again, multiplication, as you know, is the process of grouping numbers, repeated addition. And as you also know, because you've joined me a number of times, is I dislike this word with regards to multiplication. Memorize. Memorize. All right. If somebody's working with your child and they're telling your child, in order to do this, you must memorize the facts. Tell them thank you for the kind gesture, but it really will not help them in the long run, as it will not allow them to understand the rules of these numbers, because all numbers follow certain rules. And if they're memorizing, it's good for now, but it's not great for later. So just allow your child to kind of stay away from the whole idea of memorizing, right? So multiplying sevens, again, as we said, it is the process of grouping numbers. So if I had 7 times 4 or 4 times 7, sorry, that's a weird 4. If I had either 7 times 4 or 4 times 7, what I'm going to do is in 7 times 4, I'm going to build 7 groups of 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. I know these are weird, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, and I know that is 1. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 groups of 4. If you count these all up, you will notice that 7 times 4 is 28. And again, you can have 4 groups of 7, and I'm not going to draw those because I don't want to bore you, but you can have four groups of 7, and it will give you 28 as well. As we know, multiplication, you can use the inverse. All right. So what does it look like when I multiply something times 7? Well, these are your multiples of 7. We have, and if your child wants to work on them and practice them, it's excellent. Again, don't work on memorizing, work on recalling those facts, practicing facts. You know, I coach sometimes, and when I coach kids, like let's say with regards to basketball, you don't teach them to memorize each form of shot. You want to teach them, or you want them to practice doing things well or doing things right, and just understanding. And then that memory kind of forms, but it's not memorizing at the beginning. They kind of recall these facts. So 7 times 0, as you know, is 0. 7 times 1, 7. 7 times 2, 14. 7 times 3, 21. 7 times 4, 28. 7 times 5, 35. 7 times 6, 42. 7 times 7, 49. 7 times 6, or 7 times 8, 56. And 7 times 9 is 63. If you do notice, though, when you multiply 7 times an even number, you are going to get an even number. All right, I don't have it up here, but I'm telling you. So when you're helping your child, allow them to know this part. And if you multiply 7 times an odd number, you are going to get an odd number. So 7 times 1, come on, pen. 7 times 1, 7. 7 times 0, 0. 7 times 2, 14. 4 is in the ones place. 7 times 3, 21. 1 is in the ones place. So that is something, that is a way your child can go ahead and correct and check themselves. If they multiply 7 times an even number, is the product even? All right, if it is, then they're in the right track. All right, so that's something that your child can look for. Now, when you're multiplying 7s, it's a little different than, say, 6s, or it's a little different than 3s. And it's because one of the ways I teach how to multiply 7s is I build on that idea of working with 5s and 2s. Your child is at a point where they understand their 5s facts and they understand their 2s facts. So if you put those together, you'll get the 7s. Or you can go back to this slide and try to have them practice over and over these facts. But then that sounds like a little bit of memory. And that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to build rules and patterns. And this will help out later on for a certain group of properties of multiplication. So what we're going to work on is when you're multiplying a number times 7, you first multiply that number times 5. And then you multiply that number times 2 and add it. All right. It looks better here. Any number times 7 is multiplied by 5. Then add the double number. Now, just watch. It's easy. I promise you, your child won't go crazy when they see it. All right. So 7 times 4. All right. Because I'm multiplying by 7, I'm going to worry about the 4. So the first thing I'm going to do to this 4 is I'm going to multiply by 5. As you see down here, I first multiply by 5. And 4 times 5, 5, 10, 15, 20. I get 20. And then I'm going to add it. Then it says add the doubled number. So that means you have to double the number as well. 4 times 2. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8. Right? So I doubled the number and I multiplied it by 5. Then I add them together. 20 plus 8 is 28. I told you it wasn't that hard, and your child will see it that way as well. They'll see it at first. When I'm working with children, I tell them, first you want to multiply it by 5, then you want to double the number and add them together. And they're like, huh? But it's not that difficult. It really isn't. It really isn't. It really isn't. So again, I have 7 times 5. I'm working with my 7s. Now, your child could be a smarty, and they can say, well, 7 times 5, I can just count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Great, but we're working with 7s here. And you'll notice that, which is great, which is one of the reasons why I teach 7s kind of last when we're building that fluency process, because once they understand pretty much the other numbers, when they get to 7s, they already kind of have a strategy in place, but this is still the 7s strategy. All right, so 7 times 5. Again, I'm going to multiply first by 5, and then I'm going to add double that 5. So I have my 5, and I'm going to underline it. 5 times 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Then I'm going to add the double number, which is 5, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 25 plus 10, 35. And as your child will see, it is the exact same answer if they were to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. All right, and the last one, a little bit more difficult, but it doesn't have to be. I have 8 times 7. I'm going to focus on this 8. First multiply by 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. All right, so I have 40. Then I'm going to add 2 times 5. Or why did I put 5 again? I should put 8 again. Come on now. All right, so it should be 8. So I have 2 times 8 because remember the number is 8, not 5. So 2 times 8 is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So 40 plus 16 is 56. Therefore, 8 times 7 is 56. Now, again, if you're working on multiplying by 7s, make sure your child is understanding the fact that they're going to multiply the number times 5 and then by 2, and then they're going to put them together and they will get the product that they desire. Thank you again for joining me on My Learning Block. Keep learning, and I look forward to seeing you next time. bye.